Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Coffee with Partners, a mini-series of interviews to make you discover some of the sessions of this 19th edition of the EU Regions Week. I am Manu from DG Regio, and together with Betty from the European Committee of the Regions, we are going to meet some of the partners today that are shaping with us this 19th edition of the biggest European event on regional policy, that is opening its virtual doors from the 11th to the 14th of October this year. So you can now have a look at the new website and register with a new simplified method we have developed this year. And also you can download the EU Regions Week app on your phones to discover more about the 300 sessions and personalize your agenda, network, and so on. So the three guest speakers of today are partners organizing their sessions in the digital transition topic. Let me say welcome to Maria Roca from the I4MS project coordinator, Ian Graham, expert from the urbax program, and Vendula Novachkova, director at the representation of the South Moravian region to the EU. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now I will pass the floor to Betty to jump right in with the questions.
Thank you so much, Manu. And indeed, I will not take any valuable time from our three VIP guests for today. So I'm giving you the floor to not only introduce yourselves, but also say a bit more about your participation at this year's edition of EU Regions Week. Vendela, would you like to start?
Yeah, thank you, Manu. Thank you, Betty, to invite us for this great event. And as you mentioned, my name is Vendula Novachkova, and I work for the representation of the South Moravian region to the EU. And why we choose the topic digitalization, because the capital of South Moravian region, the city of Brno, is the great hub of smart specialization, and that's why we choose this topic. And together with our partners, what we have found at the EWRC tool, we found out that we have actually some experiences what we would like to share with another partners. And maybe some words to our partnerships. We are 8 regions among all Europe. We have partners from Poland, Velkopolska region, also from Romania, Timish and Maramuresh region, from Croatia, that's the Slavonia, Baranya and Sriem regions, also from Italy, it's the Umbria region, from Spain, that's the region of Ourense, and also from Bosnia and Herzegovina, that's the Republic of Srpska. I hope I didn't forget any of our partners, but that's it.
Thank you so much. And the same question goes to you, Maria.
Well, first of all, thank you for for this initiative. I think it's a pity that we are not able to meet in person. I hope next year we will succeed. Let's see. Fingers crossed for this. Well, my name, as Manu already said, is Maria Roca. I'm Senior Project Manager at Fundingbox. And Fundingbox is an online platform that connects investors with entrepreneurs and SMEs. We also facilitate access to cascade funding opportunities that are funded by European projects, and try, to leverage also the results of European projects and put at the disposal of the SMEs that at the end are the motor of the economy in the European Union. And I4MS, which is the initiative that I'm here representing today, is a European initiative that started in 2017, is funded by the European Commission. We are coordinators of this project, together with Tecnalia, which is a big RTO in Spain, and also Mobile World Capital Barcelona, which is a foundation here in Spain also. And our main objective for organizing this session, because as I said, I4MS at the end brings together different European projects that are developing tools, are offering funding opportunities, also training opportunities for SMEs. And we are trying to work together with regions in order to see how they can use these results. In some occasions, regions, well, in some occasions, in all occasions, regions have their own digital transformation policies, Industry 4.0 policies, and we are trying to do through a working group that we have is to connect with the region and see what they are doing in order to better understand how other regions could also learn from each other. And during our session that will be held the 14th of October at 9:30, that I invite you to join, we will be having two examples of two regions from Poland and also from Croatia with different approaches. One will be tackling the upskilling challenges of the manufacturing industry, and the other a little bit more policy driven on how they are implemented the digital transformation policies. And afterwards, we will have a discussion with different regions. So it will be super interesting if you could join and share your views on this topic.
Thank you very much. And we will yet have also time to hear more about the exact sessions that you're preparing. But to wrap up the introductory round, Ian, the floor is yours now.
Hi, thank you. Yes, my name's Ian Graham. I work in city innovation and social innovation, and specialising particularly in collaborative and participative methods. As part of this, I'm a lead expert for the urbax programme, which is an EU-funded programme which supports urban development initiatives and city collaboration. So urbax finances and helps city administrations and municipalities to come up with actions and strategies against their daily challenges, and to do that in a collaborative and sort of participative way. Urbax brings together EU cities and networks as their primary function of facilitating exchange and learning. To look at different good practices, develop possible solutions together, but also to help build capacity and equip people with tools and methods and expertise to support better policy making and better implementation of both policies and other local interventions. In terms of urbax, had long participation in the EU Regions Week, and it's established almost an annual meeting point for city administrations every October. And this year, urbax are particularly keen. We're keen to really put digital transition in the minds of everybody, and against the backdrop of one of the themes of the week, that's really aligns with sort of our current focus on themes around digitization, amongst other things. And cities really can no longer put all the digital things onto the desk of the IT manager. Everyone leading cities or working cities has a role to play, and I think part of what we want to achieve through this time round is to really bring that conversation to the fore and to help people understand how they can harness digital transition, but also how to manage it and how to assess the different risks and so on, and to be more actively involved in the discussion about it.
Thank you so much. Well, as we all know, every year EU Regions Week brings to the table very high numbers of sessions, and yes, wow, this year we are at 300, so also go download the app. And Coffee with Partners is a series of interviews that gives the floor to you, to the session organizers, so you have an opportunity to directly address potential participants. So now's the time for your pitch. Why should the viewers sign up for your session? Ian, let's stay with you.
Okay. Yes, I mean, digitization, digital transition, however you want to call it, is really key, and it really cuts across all policy areas and all departments of municipalities, of regional bodies. It affects all of us now. And digitization provides both huge potential for solving challenges on a local or regional or national level and improving lives of citizens. But it also poses some significant threats and some significant risks. And it's becoming really important that we can all get our head around that, understand what our part to play in it that is, and how we can contribute to it. So digital is now and will be. In the future, it will continue to be a key part of urban development and of policy making for the foreseeable future, probably as far as we can see. And what we've seen from our recent Tech Place City survey we conducted with cities, and we'll be presenting some of that and the findings of that during the session, is that cities really see digitization as a key priority, but also as a key challenge that will require strong leadership and possibly some different approaches and different thinking to previously. So the session is really for anyone working with cities, working in or near cities, around cities. And our message from this is that digital and tech affect almost everybody in all aspects of life, and that actually everyone needs to be able to get to grips with it a bit and to at least be aware of the main themes of digital transition and what that means for them and how they can be involved. So the session will help to explore some of the key aspects of digital transition, from politics, political leadership, or administrative leadership, right down to some of the more detailed considerations. But the message is that tech is as much about people as it is around technology. Digital isn't just about the technology, and so it's helping people to understand how they can contribute to that and what it means for them, and a chance to explore that. We're also we are building a sort of permanent community of cities and city practitioners and people working in or with cities or government, people who are willing to exchange on the topic of digitization and do that. And we do that through our Tech Place platform and our Tech Place events program. And we'll also talk a little bit about that in the session and how you can get involved and what it could do for you. So it'll be a session with some 4 speakers from different aspects, looking at some quite different aspects of digital transition, and there'll be a big opportunity for discussion between speakers and between the audience, and other interaction options through a few digital tools and polls and feedback options and so on. So there'll be a lot of options to put your questions forward, to get involved and actively in a discussion, and to just really find out what some new perspectives potentially, and build some new connections that can help you in your work in whatever field that is in terms of urban development.
Thank you so much. So we will be looking forward not only to the session itself, but also to its outcomes, I believe.
Yes, definitely.
And same question goes for Wendy. What is the hook that you can offer to your potential audiences to sign up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are focused especially for the interoperability of digital solution, as it's the name of our workshop. So yeah, we are focused on how to cooperate between the public and the private sector. And we would like to invite another representatives of the regional representatives who can also have some experiences of the digitalization, but also who can inspire it, who could be inspired with our experiences. But also our workshop is good for the EU officials, for the representative of the public and private sector, because they can also find some inspiration from our workshop. And we will be using the Slido during the whole session, and also our speakers would like to ask some questions to our audience, and we also have, I hope so, we will have some outcomes, not only from our speakers, but also from the audience, because we would like to have some scoop, I can say, how it works. And we also have a little focus to the COVID situation and the consequences, because among our partners, COVID will be the starting point of the digitalization in the public sector, and it was the starting point for the projects of digitalization, and actually also the interoperability of the digital solutions. So they will also be talking about these experiences and how it started, if I can say like that.
Thank you so much. So we have more and more interactive sessions. That is just amazing to hear. And now turning to you, Maria. Can can you tell us more about what you are preparing for us?
Yeah. Well, in the case of our session, what we want to provide to the attendees is with information, of all the tools that are available on the I4MS, which are the main stakeholders that could really play a role in using the solutions that different EU projects are putting at the disposal of SMEs and digital innovation hubs. So one of the key aspects that we are going to tackle is, from one side, to give information about the tools that are available under I4MS, funding opportunities, technological support, but also, we will put at the center, as Ian mentioned, I think that at the end, digital transition, the people is at the core of the digital transition. So how we can also involve the citizens, we can involve workers in order to make that digital transitions really takes place, and also that digital technologies are an enabler for this transition to happen. So what we will do is have a presentation about the role of the digital innovation hubs, the role of the regions in this transition, how they can, take advantages of EU policies and EU projects that are now currently, being developed for the digital transformation of SMEs. And also, we will have, as I said previously, two visions. One from a region that, they put a lot of efforts in working into education, from the, from primary school to the university, in order to change also their network of SMEs, and also, the type of industry that was meant for this specific country. And then also an example of a digital innovation hub that is working very closely with the regional government in order to make sure that all SMEs, regardless of their location, can have access to all digital technologies, especially ICT technologies. And then finally, as an interactive part, we will have a session where we want to hear also the audience. If you are a region, if you are an entrepreneur, or if you are a digital innovation hub, with good experiences on how this digital transition could happen, we are, very keen to hear you. We will have a different polls in order to see what the audience have. Also, two keynote speakers that will help us during the discussion, and also we will have a graphic recorder in order to present the conclusion of the session after in a very visual way, because since we won't be able to interact with each other and have a coffee maybe later, to talk about the conclusions, we would like to show in a very visual way what are the main conclusions, and of course use it to create some policy recommendation that in I4MS we are now working on.
Wow, just getting better and better, honestly. I have to say, I just by listening to all of you, I honestly would just go, if I were one of our viewers, and downloaded the app and immediately sign up for all of your sessions. But let me stay for a bit more in the realm of SMEs, because these interviews give us an option to dig a little deeper. And so we've prepared for the last round of questions, some that are tailored specifically to your work or to your sessions. So Maria, if I can ask, what would you say, which support technologies are the most requested by SMEs?
Well, at the moment, I have to say that from the experience we have also running different projects that are supporting SMEs, artificial intelligence is like, the big one, the hot topic. I think it's not only because of AI, but also for the number of applications that it has. So it's a technology that is very demanded at the moment. Also, I have to say that from what I have heard from I4MS experts, sometimes SMEs think that they might need a specific technology, and then at the end, they end up with a different solution. So although at the moment, I think digital twins, artificial intelligence, also, now all this additive manufacturing is like, is becoming also a real of interest for the SMEs. But what I have heard from the experts is that also cloud-based simulation technologies are perhaps, one of the most demanded, although might be that the first interest of the SMEs is not exactly on this technology. So yeah, because at the end, of course, the technology is also evolving time. So a few years ago, it was robotics, and now it evolves to AI. So, it will continue evolving during the years. But I think, yes, as I said, in AI and digital twins, and also this additive manufacturing and cloud-based simulation, these are the most relevant ones at the moment.
And what about some maybe examples of cross-border cooperation in these cases? Is there anything you could mention?
Yes, indeed. In the case of I4MS is focused mainly on funding application experiments. So it means that the SMEs decide what type of experiments they want to drive in their factories, or to improve their services or their processes. And for this purpose, in most of the occasion, they need to work jointly with another company. It might be a technical a technology provider, it might be an RTO from a different country. So usually there are, I might say 200 examples of application experiments that have been done cross-border. Just to give you some examples of the type of experiments that are being funded, for instance, in a factory that they will dealing with pharma products, they improve the overall material flow of raw materials inside the factory with an AGV, with these small robots that go through the factory, and those AGVs were transporting raw materials from one place to the other. So you can imagine that this meant for the company a huge reduction of time of the workers, also that they spend time, charging all the materials from one place to the other, and also, of course, to improve the delivery of the different raw materials to the different working stations that were in the factory. But also, we have examples also from a company from Galicia that worked together with an RTO in the UK. And what they did is to create new simulation services with high computational requirements, for instance, for vessels and, these fuel stations that are in the middle of the sea. I don't remember now the name, sorry for that. But they collaborating with them, they reduce the computing time from 200 hours to 4 hours. So you can imagine, for this company, what it means also in terms of productivity. Because for one simulation, they reduce it from 200 hours to 4 hours. So it meant that they could approve more work, more demand, and then, be able to deliver all the services to the clients very easily and fast. So these are a few examples. But in our website, we have plenty of examples that I really, encourage you to go to i4ms.eu and take a look to this.
Thank you so much, because I believe that real examples on the ground tell the story slightly better than just millions of words explaining the concept. So thank you so much. And I would like to stay on this note with some successful examples as well. So Wendy, could you tell us about some projects that are boosting regional interoperability that were implemented in your own region?
Sure. I will talk about two projects within the Brno. As I said, the Brno is the capital of South Moravian region and also the biggest city. The first project, we call it Brno ID, and it's the web place where you can, or our citizen can buy the subscription for the tickets for the public transport. We call it Šalinkarta. And you can also solve the waste payments for all family members. Also, you can operate residential parking settings within Brno, or recharge your card for the swimming pools, and extended your registration to the public library. And Brno ID currently offers 8 models, including voting in the participatory budget of the city, and so on. So actually really interesting, and there is actually a great example of working between the public and private sector. And the second project, it's called DSW2 Grant Software, and it's also the solution for the cities and for the villages. It's the free solution for submitting application for municipality subsidies and also their administration. And actually, it was involved by the organization Otevřená města. The translation is Open Cities. And the chairwoman of this organization will be one of our speakers in our workshop. It's Lucie Smolka, and she will be talking more about these type of projects and some cooperation between public and private sector. And we have another speakers, but you have to wait until Tuesday, 12th of October, and we are starting at 11:30. So we are looking forward to you all, and hope you can also prepare your experiences and share with us through the Slido. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as a final question, Ian, let's zoom out a bit and tell me, what would you say in general is the situation in EU with regards to digital transition? And maybe if there are any regions that you think we could take some learnings from.
Yeah. I mean, as we'll hear in the session in October, the urbax Tech Place team spoke to a lot of cities in our other recent survey and research work that we did, and the picture is very mixed. Actually, it's very dependent on circumstances. I think we often generalize that more northern or more northwestern regions tend to be ahead in digitization, and the more southern or southeastern regions tend to be nearer the start of their journey. But those sort of averages in some respects can mask the detail, and the reality is much more nuanced, is much more subtle. So there's examples of advanced digital development in southern regions as northern regions, and from all over really. And I think one of the themes you do tend to see is that larger cities benefit from economies of scale in there as well. So big places like Amsterdam, Barcelona, etc., have the finance and the teams available to really push forward. It's not to say that all big cities are ahead necessarily, but smaller cities can struggle in prioritizing their resources, and that's one of the things we're going to look at a little bit in our session around actually how cities are making those decisions and are prioritizing when they've only got a limited team or limited resources to focus on their efforts, or how they prioritize and sequence what they do. I think in terms of learning, I think ultimately what I found in all the networks and exchanges I've worked with is that you can learn from all cities to a certain degree, whether you're digital leaders or not. Again, interestingly, one of the things that came out in the work we've done is that the majority of cities seem to feel that they're not ahead of the game in terms of digitalization. Most places are looking to still learn more, even if from a different perspective, they're a long way ahead of others. And there's an importance attached, I think, to having that interactive platform and that community to exchange on things and to look at how you can build connections and relationships with people in other cities. And it's sometimes the unexpected places that you learn from, that it's not always the people who are ahead digitally that in terms of their digital advancement that are the ones that you get the best insights from in your own circumstance. And again, that links back to the fact that a lot of the challenges with digitalization are not not always the technical challenges, but the policy and the social challenges around it. How do you make these things work in practice? How do you put the right controls and governance in place to ensure things, especially picking up on things like AI and artificial intelligence, how that's managed, or when you get into autonomous vehicles, like mentioned in the factories and things, particularly if you're putting them into public situations, how do you set the governance and the safeguards to ensure that those things work and that the public and citizens have confidence in them? And so in some respects, it's not always about being the digital prowess that makes the technology succeed. It's sometimes the ability to engage citizens in a way where they can get the best out of the things that technology offer. So I think it is a very mixed picture. There's pockets of good practice all across Europe. There's pockets of the cities and the regions that are further behind in their journey as well. So I don't think it's very fair to sort of put whole regions in a good or bad sort of label. But one of the things we'll hear about in the session is some of the detail from various bits of research that talk about how different things pair up and how different places perceive themselves, but then how that trickles down into practical actions and practical activities and projects.
Thank you so much. Well, based on what you've all said, I believe the one message is clear. Citizens are at the heart of digital transition, and we need to share our experiences and work together to tackle challenges. And EU Regions Week, believe it or not, is one place to do that. So thank you again, our three guests, for sharing your knowledge, for sharing your insights, and for presenting your sessions. I can't wait to register myself for them. And I will now give the word to Manu to wrap up today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty, and thank you all for joining us today for this episode dedicated to the digital transition. If you want to learn more, join us online from the 11th to the 14th October this year. Register to the event, keep an eye on the social media with the EU Regions Week hashtag, and download the app on your phone. Let me thank again our guest speakers of today, Maria Roca, Fundingbox, project coordinator from the I4MS project, Ian Graham, urban program expert, urbax program expert, and Vendula Novachkova, director of the representation of the South Moravian region to the EU. So see you very soon with another episode of Coffee with Partners, and from me and Betty, bye and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.